Okay, g'day everyone, welcome to the video. In this one we're going to have a look at how to process your leave applications for staff. So in most cases that's your personal leave, otherwise known as sick leave and carers leave, or your annual leave. So here we are again in the demo company. What we'll do is we're going to open up another screen, so we'll right click and go duplicate. I always like to do it this way so that I can sort of jump back and forth between different functions without having to sort of, lose where I was at on another sort of thing I was doing. So in this one, I'll open up the payroll screen. We'll go pay employees. Okay, so we're going to add a pay run. We're going to do the fortnightly run for the fortnight ending 14th of June. Okay, so we've got 3 staff here. I will just exclude them for now while we go and put in some leave for these guys. So we've got James, Oliver and Sally. Okay, so we're looking at the fortnight ending 14th of June. Let's say James took a sick day on the 12th of June. So we're going to go over to our other window here, Payroll Leave. Okay, so we're going to go New Leave. James, there he is at the top, James LeBron. I think that's a basketballer, isn't it? But the other way around. So what do we say? He's going to have some personal carers leave, otherwise known as, or more commonly known as sick leave. And we'll do it for the 12th. Now what you can do here, we're working with the fortnight ending 14th of June. So have a quick look at our calendar. And that covers, so the 1st through to the 14th. So you can enter your leave on the particular days. So I guess the proper correct way to do it would be to put it on the 12th. So I'll just put SL for sick leave. You can type in here whatever you had to do, if you need to put in more information, but that's up to you. You can put it on the 12th. And we can see here, he's got 45.8 hours accrued. So we'll just jump over and have a quick look at James here, because I want to see if he's on a 38-hour week or a 40-hour week, sorry, because that will determine whether we process 7.6 hours for a 38-hour week or 8 hours for a 40-hour week. And 76 hours for a fortnight, that means he's doing 38-hour weeks or 7.6 hours a day. So we'll just go back to the main payroll screen. Internet is a bit slow today, guys, so please excuse me for that, but we will get through it. All right, back to leave. We've got James, SL for sick leave, 12th of June. He had 1 day, so 7.6 hours. Now, if he only had, for instance, 5 hours accrued, what a lot of businesses would do is they'd only pay down to what has been accrued. So if you only had 5 hours accrued, they'd only pay out 5 hours. You can go into the negative if you want, but by no means do you have to. But that's something for you to decide. So there's no issue here because we've got 45.8 hours accrued. So we're processing 7.6 on the 12th of June. All right, so now when we go over to the pay run, because the 12th of June falls into the fortnight ending the 14th of June, this should flow through automatically. And there you can see before, if you remember, it was 76 hours, ordinary hours, and what it's done, it's taken 7.6 out of the ordinary hours, and that's gone down to 68.4. And then we got the personal carers leave, your sick leave here for 7.6. You add them up and that'll add up to 76 hours. So that's just a small check you should always do. The hours should always add up to the same, providing you're paying out the full hours of sick leave if you had the enough accrued to do so. So that looks good. None of this other stuff here is really relevant to what we're talking about now, so I'm just going to go save. And you see here, this is what he accrues each fortnight, 5.8 annual leave and 2.9 personal carers leave, your sick leave. So I'll save that. And we'll go back to the main payroll screen and do another example. Okay, so just before, as I put this other one in as the exact date when the leave was taken, you don't have to do it that way. We can say, okay, Oliver Gray, this person took 2 days annual leave, and it was saved from the 10th to the 11th of June. So let's go process it. Do a new leave application for Oliver Gray. I don't know if Oliver Gray or Gray Oliver is anyone famous. Let me know, guys, if it is. So we've got annual leave in this case. All right, this is a pretty good example of what I was talking about before. So we're going to say that Oliver had 2 days annual leave. And I've already checked before, and they're also on a 38-hour week or 76-hour fortnight. So 2 days at 7.6 hours is 15.2 hours, but we can see here, they've only got 11.6 hours accrued. So again, if you want to be a nice guy, you can process the full 15.2, and then if you check back afterwards, you would see this would have a negative balance. But you don't have to do that at all, and it's actually quite common to only pay out what has been accrued. I mean, it's not unreasonable to expect that you got to put your time in, accrue the hours before you can take time off and, get paid for it. So that's pretty fair enough, I think, but that's for you to decide. So here I'll just put AL. You can put in, what do we say, 10th to the 11th, or what I often do, which, is a bit easier for me and has the same effect. I'll just say AL. I might even say ALX2, 2 days, fortnight ending 14th of the 6th, and then I'll just go, instead of going 10th to the 11th, I'll just go straight to the 14th. And this is probably not the proper way you're supposed to do it, because you can see here it's only gone for 7.6 hours, but if we split it out over 2 days, hasn't jumped up from 7.6 because I believe the 13th was the weekend. So let's try the 11th. And you can see here it's prompted you for 15.2. But I was just going to take my little shortcut and show you how I do that. But you've got to do whatever way you like to do it, or how your boss wants to do it, or whatever your processes, your manuals, your internal processes sort of direct you how to do it is the way you should do it. So, but I'm just showing you a little quick way that I sometimes do it. So I'll just go AL times 2 for the fortnight ending 14th of the 6th, and we just put date, start 14th and 14th, and normally I'd put in 15.2, but in this case they've only got 11.66, so I'm not going to go into the negative. I'm only going to use what they've accrued. Okay, now we're going to go over to the pay run. Okay, so you can see it's bringing in 11.6602 here. And this is, again, a very good example to show you what I just showed with James about the balances adding up to 76 hours, how that isn't always the case and how you have to be a little bit careful. So I'm just going to open up the calculator here and we'll add up these hours. So we've got 64.3398 ordinary hours plus 11.6602 that I just processed. And you can see here that it adds up to 76. And what this has assumed is that the full amount being taken has been accrued and it's taken the difference automatically from here. But really, because Oliver didn't have enough accrued annual leave, the portion that he didn't have accrued, the 11.66, the difference of that from 15.2 hours should really, the way we're treating it here, be unpaid leave because he didn't have enough accrued leave to get paid for that. So really, the ordinary hours should be 76 is what a normal fortnight is, minus 15.2 for the 2 days. Should only be 60.8 hours, not 64. So we're going to change this to 60.8. And now you got your 60.8 hours plus 11.6602. So Oliver is getting paid for 72.4602 hours instead of 76 because he didn't have the 15.2 hours accrued for the 2 days annual leave. So it's always pays to add these two figures up to make sure they add up to the 76 hours or the 80 hours for a fortnight and make any adjustments as required if their accrued balances aren't sufficient to cover the leave. All right, so we're happy that this is all good now. Another thing here worth mentioning is you can see his normal rate is 30 and his annual leave rate is 30 as well. This isn't as common these days, but sometimes people will be paid leave loading. And I'll just jump over the settings quickly and show you how that would be set up if it was the case. So we're going to go to settings, payroll settings, when it decides to load. All right, pay items. Now if we go down to leave here, okay, on a little side note, I would probably also change the name of this to put in brackets at the end, sick leave, just so it's clear. Because it's commonly referred to as sick leave, and that's really what it is. But if you jump into Xero and you're seeing personal carers leave and not really knowing what it is, you're saying, where's the sick leave, mate? There. So just so it's clear. Okay, so going into the annual leave, if there is leave loading, you'll see here, leave loading rate optional. Enter an amount here if your organisation pays an additional percentage on top of your ordinary earnings when your employees take leave, typically 17.5%. So if there is 17.5%, say you'd have 17.5 in here, and then, I'm not going to change it now, but I'll just show you what would happen. The rate here wouldn't be 30, it would automatically show as 13 plus your 17.5%. So what's that? 13 times 1.175. It would be 35.25, and that would flow through automatically. So that would basically mean when there's a portion of leave, they'd get paid a bit more than they normally do. But there's no leave load here, so it's $30 an hour, has not changed. Okay, so we're happy with that. We're going to save. Okay, back to the main pay run screen. Okay, let's just say it's only James and Oliver getting paid this time, because your sick leave and annual leave is what you're going to be dealing with on a day in, day out basis. We're going to post that. Yes, we want to post it. Okay, that's been posted. Now, if we go back over to the leave balances, we'll have to actually go to a different screen for that. I'll do it over here. I don't think we need this window anymore. So we'll go employees. Oliver. Leave. We're going to have a look at his balance. Now, you'd probably expect that his balance will be 0, because we just wiped out, rather than going into negative, because we've wiped out all his annual leave. But you'll see, oh, hang on here, what's going on? There's actually 5.8301 hours. The reason for that is he has accrued the extra leave on his most recent pay run. So in theory, if we go in and have a look at Oliver Gray here and have a look at his pay slip, the accrued leave should equal this amount here, 5.8301. There it is, 5.8301. So what happened was he had the 11.66 hours accrued. We wiped that down to 0. And then he's accrued an extra 5.8301 in the current fortnight to bump this back up. And if you're thinking, okay, hang on, why didn't we take this 5.83 hours into account when we were processing the leave, and we probably should have processed a full 15.2 hours? Well, the way the system works, and payroll in general in most cases, is when you're processing the leave, you do that before, as you saw, we actually post the pay run to the ledger. And you can only work with what is in there as far as accrued hours goes. So, I mean, you could get tricky and try and sort of say, oh, hang on, okay, there's going to be another 5.8301, so we'll pay a bit more. But look, in most cases, when someone's looking to pay leave, their record of leave, so when someone's looking to take leave, they'll have a record on their pay slip of how many hours has been accrued, and they'll work off that. So they're always working off the balance from the previous fortnight, because the current fortnight hasn't been posted yet. So how we did this is fine. That's how I would normally do it. I wouldn't worry about trying to get tricky and add 5.8301 onto the 11.6602, whatever it was, to see what the balance will be after the pay run, because we're working with the balance from the previous posted fortnight. So that's fine. I'm not worried about that at all. And I believe that's pretty much it, guys. Just I don't think this video's been too long. What do we got? We're coming up to 19-20 minutes, so decent. You know, they always go on a bit longer than you think, these things. But I hope you got something out of this. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. Now, if you want us to come out and do some training at your organisation, or if you want to do some online training, hit us up at Q Training. There'll be a link in the description, so we can do some web-based training. We can tailor the session to exactly what you need to get you up and running, to help you out with any tricky things that you're not sure about. We might even be able to come out to your workplace if we're in the area. We'd have to look at that. If you want to get some bookkeeping done, if you want some outsourcing, if you want some leave coverage, if someone's going on leave, your bookkeeper's going on leave, and you've got no one to do the books, we can come in for a month or so, or a few weeks, and handle that for you. If your bookkeeper's left and you haven't yet hired someone new, we can go in and do a handover from your previous bookkeeper before they leave, and fill that role until you hire someone new. So we can help with all that. We can even do the whole job if you want. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you're looking for any help with anything, hit us up and we'll see what we can do. But thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one.